Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Cooking with Unity. I'm your host, Max Moreau, and with me is my co-host, Philip Wilson.
The excitement never stops.
Nice of you to join us live. We're actually on time. Well, we're 30 minutes late, but we're on time for what we said we were going to do, and so that's a new one on ours. And I think we've got things a little bit better organized, and it seems like YouTube has things a little bit better organized than they did too. We've noticed some changes into how their streaming stuff works. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the show. So, I still have to do this manually. So I tried to do a global hotkey type thing, and I was not successful to it. So if anyone has experience with CamTwist and knows how to make it so that it will respond in a global manner, or maybe know some AppleScript, let me know. I might dig into it myself at some point too, but if I could get some help, that'd be awesome. So in our last episode, we did more work on our level 2. We got some buggy AI code for our ship.
Oh,
That we
yeah.
have it so that we can actually move up and down. We bank nicely on this one. God, it's doing all sorts of cool stuff. Did you see that
I
thing?
did. Oh yeah.
And let's see, we've got our other test scene here, which is our one where we actually get closer to the tower as it goes, and it banks now, and it's all cool, and so even the turret, not the turret, the crosshairs bank. Everything's
I think
awesome.
That's kind of neat, actually.
I really like it. So, what's next? So I was thinking about things we were going to do today, and I was thinking we might want to actually start adding a few more game mechanics just to mix things up, as opposed to doing level 2 stuff. Making it so that we have collision stuff. Make it so we have what other things do we need? Enemies, shooting, things like that. Core gameplay stuff. And health bar, shield bar, something, death conditions, game over conditions, that sort of stuff.
But you want to make a game where you can die?
Well, I mean, I would. I mean, I like the old type of games which punish the players.
I do as well.
So, not necessarily punish, but I like to be challenged to a certain extent. So, and I realized that we're on episode 8, and what was our longest one before? It was the FPS, and I think we ended at 7, didn't we?
I think so. I think
Okay.
this is now our longest.
This is officially our longest one, and I told everyone that we want to actually finish this project, and so I'm going to bring up the quote that comes up a lot. The last 10% represents 90% of the work, and in the games industry, this is as true as it is in any industry. It's not an exact figure. I'm pretty sure it will take us less than 70 episodes to do this. And if we were to assume we were 90% done right now, which we aren't,
No.
that's how long it would take. So it would actually be longer than 90 episodes. I don't think it'll be that egregious. But we are getting to the point where we actually have to start thinking about project organization. And I actually didn't run this by you, but I probably
No,
should.
that's okay.
So what I'm actually going to point people to so we're going to actually do a little bit of documentation today, a little bit of non-Unity stuff. And Asana is this project management system that I think is really good. It's great for groups, and it's also great for individuals. It is a cloud service, so if you're worried about like your idea getting leaked, now we've already had discussions about how ideas are not worth as much as you think they are, but that doesn't mean that if you have a unique idea, that still can be worth something if you're the first to market. And so, if you're worried about that, don't use this service. No one stole Proton Pulse, not that it was anything to steal, and I generally trust people more than some people do. So you use at your own risk for that. But it's a very well organized and very fast to use project management system. It basically works just like a very simple task list, except for it's networked and you can organize things nicely.
Yeah.
I've shown you Asana a couple times
I've
before,
used it.
right? Okay, you've used it. Excellent. So did you use it for finishing up your game?
No.
Actually? Oh, okay.
Nope.
What is this doing?
I don't know.
What? You should know who I am. Oh, it logged in as Pushy Pixels. That's the problem. So, technical difficulties. I do want to sign in using Google, but I don't want to sign in using that Google. I want to sign in using this Google. How? I thought I deleted all this stuff anyway. Like, I swear I said delete all of my stuff till the end of time at the beginning of this episode to try and make this easier to deal with.
But it did not do that.
And that's not what I wanted to log in either. Sorry about this. So now if I hit sign in using Google, maybe it will actually have my already set up environment and it won't ask me all these stupid questions.
It's loading. It's thinking.
Is it? Okay,
yeah, look
it's
at the
thinking.
little bar up there. It's doing its thing.
I was being too impatient. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right,
yeah,
so
I
here
have
we are.
used Asana though.
So we've got a bunch of stuff here that we don't need. So I'm just going to create a new project real quick. We're going to call this Star Fox thingy.
Should be Star Fox FAUX.
All right, Star Fox.
Starfo.
Starfall. All right. So, and as I said, it basically works like a really simple task list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to document kind of where we're at and what needs to get done at this point. I want to show this portion of it because I know that documentation is something that everyone can figure out, and you're all going to have your own systems for this too. But sometimes you need to put it on paper. Sometimes you need to actually manage this stuff. I know that you guys probably know that I'm kind of a seat of the pants kind of guy, and you know that I probably don't spend a whole lot of time before episodes practicing stuff, or maybe you don't know that, but I don't spend a whole lot of time before episodes. And I don't do a whole lot of planning, but there is a point where planning is required. And when a project is getting to the point where you kind of see where it's going, this is the time to do this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my mug cam now, just before I forget, in case I start blocking things that are important. All right, so Asana works really simply. You can make an item by just typing something. So if we said fix AI for enemy, it just is right there. So we've got that there. The other thing you can do really easily is if you put a colon at the end of something, it becomes a category. So if I do like gameplay here, it becomes a category, and then we have something that we can put inside there. And so I'm gonna go ahead and do gameplay. I'm going to make another category called front end level 1, level 2, and level 3. We are going to have a level 3. We haven't started on it yet, but I'm going to put that in there as a skeleton. So fix AI for enemy would be under gameplay, so I'm just going to throw it under there. And let's see, what other things do we need for gameplay? We need collision detection for player. We need shield system / health system for player. We're going to need a game over condition / effect. And let's move on to front end. We're going to need a title screen.
Oh, I thought. Well, we need transitions between the levels as well.
Yeah.
Which would probably be level transitions.
Yeah, I'll put those under the levels themselves. Title screen. Credit screen. Yeah, why not? Because
options.
Credit screen. We're going to skip options this time.
No options.
All right, fine. Options. Oh yeah, invert. We've got an option, so we have one thing to put in our options screen. That's perfect. And so what else do we need? We need a game over screen. And for level 1, we need transition to level 2. I'm going to put one of these on level 2 as well. Transition to level 3.
And level 3 needs a boss fight.
Transition. And level 3 needs a boss fight. Oh, good call. Boss fight. And actually, I'm going to put in front end, I'm going to put ending. Maybe. What other things do we need for level 1? So we have the tower, we have that stuff going on. We need we need enemies, and we need a just a level 2. I'm gonna call this yeah, I'm just gonna lump that under transition to level 2. We can put some additional notes under here, be like this means animation and actually detecting that the level is complete. Comment. All right, so this is a basic outline. We can add to this as we go, and that took very little time to actually set up once I got my login information correct. So So this gives us something to work on, and as I said, I'm going to kind of focus on some of these gameplay bugs and features first, mostly because we've been doing level cosmetic stuff for the past 2 episodes now, and I just want to kind of break it up a little bit more. So let's get started on that. I'm going to be working from level 1 again. I like to generally mix it up. One of the reasons is we both have worked on projects where the first level you make is always going to be your most polished level. Like whatever level it happens to be. And sometimes some designers solve this by making like the last level first. Like they want to make sure that the ending's really good, or they make the first level first because they want to make sure that the new players understand how the game's working. And there's nothing wrong with any of that, but what I like to do is I like to kind of jump between levels if I have levels to jump between, and that way if I break something, I'll know pretty quickly the next time I load another level that it's broken in another level. You can make a lot of assumptions, that, as you've seen in previous episodes, that can break things across levels, and it's something you have to definitely pay attention to. So, what we're going to do with this, let's start with collision. So, we're going to need some sort of way to manage the player's health and display it on the screen. So, I'm going to create a new script, C# script, called, I'm just going to call it Health Manager. Why do I feel like my typing's off today? Even though it actually typed right, it felt like it was really wrong. I felt like
it's funky like that.
It is a funky word, but it's not. Oh God, it's gotten funkier as I've looked at it. Health.
Yeah, health.
Health Manager. All right, Heath Manager.
Manager.
Manager. Heath Manager. All right, that sounds like a character from Mount Your Friends.
Oh, God,
If you guys have not played Mount Your Friends, you should. And I'm talking about the Xbox Live game, not the awesome real life game. Equally awesome. Public. So this thing's gonna have. We're gonna need a max health. So let's say max health. And let's default this to. I'm gonna since this is Star Fox style. I'm gonna do kind of an analog scale. So I'm gonna actually make it 10.0 F for your max. Yeah, let's do it that way. Yeah, that'll be fine. So public. Oh yeah, we don't need to actually tell it what it is. Float. Can't just figure that out by the type. It actually could, but it doesn't want to.
it's good that it doesn't.
It's good. Yeah, it's good that it doesn't want to. So public float max health equals 10. Let's. We're gonna need to actually have a private variable that represents our actual health. So current health. And that we're going to default in the start loop, so it doesn't matter what we set it to there. Let's start with that and see where we go. So in our start here, we're going to want to take the current health and equate it to our max health. So as soon as this thing...
As soon as it starts up, you have your maximum
Yep,
health.
as soon as it starts, you have your maximum health. And so we're going to need the ability to take damage. So I'm going to create a little function. So void. I almost typed some JavaScript in there. That was nasty. Void. What are we doing? Damage player. We'll do float amount of damage. I don't like that. Damage amount.
By the way, Sieg said that you have far too many Googles.
I have far too many Googles.
Yeah.
I do have far too many Googles. I have 2 whole Googles. That's one too many Googles, which is indeed far too many Googles.
Yeah.
Current health equals max health. Damage player, damage amount. So all we're going to do is just take the current health. This is a very basic skeleton interface that we're working on here. Minus equals damage amount. We technically don't have to have these as 2 functions. We could have like something that's just called change health. I'm going to make it 2 separate functions just for the designer types out there that kind of like to be more explicit about what you're doing. You could always pass a negative float to damage player to heal them, and you could always pass a positive float to or a negative float to heal player. Restore health. Restore health. Health amount. This one's just going to be plus equals. All right. So this is the basic setup. Now we also want to do a few other things here. So if our current health is if current health is less than 0, game over logic here, or at least lose a life. I think I'm going to actually just make it game over to start, but we might have a life manager at some point.
That's the better way of doing it.
So, and then on this one, we're going to do if current health is greater than max health. This one's super simple. We just make sure that our current health equals max health. So since we've split this into two things, we can make an assumption about the use. We don't equals. We just want regular equals. We can make an assumption about the use here. And so what I'm going to do is, remember how I said we could technically pass a negative value in here. Let's make it so you can't. Let's just put a little bit of a damage control on here, just so that we don't hurt ourselves. Because if you make an assumption like that and someone actually does the negative thing, in the case of damaged player, if you do a negative value, you can go over your maximum number of health.
Yeah, you end up
we're not
with
checking
the
for that.
Sinistar problem.
Exactly. You wrap back around.
You can die twice at...
It's a little different, but yeah, it's a similar problem. Similar class of problems.
I mean, it's similar class because of the fact that it goes into a negative number, and then therefore you have an incredibly high amount.
So if damage amount is less than 0, we're going to break out of this, and we're also going to throw an error. So we can do debug.log error, and this will just be you cannot pass a negative value to damage player. Please use restore health. Please use restore health instead. So this is what's known as a friendly error. This not only tells you what the problem is, but it also tells you how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
So we're going to do the same thing on here. Restore health. If health amount is less than 0, you cannot pass a negative value to health. Restore health. Please use damage player instead. All right, so let's go ahead and test this. Make sure that it works. So let's create a what is going on? Non-closing loop, which to break or continue. Oh, I didn't want to break. Sorry, I wanted to just return. Break is if we're in a loop or in some control structure like that. We're not. We actually just want to return null from the function. Since it's a void, you can return without any parameters. As a matter of fact, if you have a parameter in your return, I think you'll get an error in C#, which is appropriate because it's a void. You're not supposed to return anything. And likewise, if you are supposed to return something and you try and do return without anything, it will complain at you in that case too. I'm going to go and create a new... I'm going to create a new... So this thing will have to persist across levels. It probably should be a singleton. We're going to get to that in a bit. We might do that on this episode. We might do it next episode. But that will be something to do.
We should write that down in our Asana task list.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea. I was going to mention something along those lines. What are we doing? This is...
Health
manager. Let's actually do that. So let's make something...
That's a gameplay, right?
Yeah. So this was... Shield health system for player.
But we want a singleton.
Yes.
We need a few things to be singletons, don't we?
Is there a way to... No, I can't do that. I'm waiting for them to get it to the point where you just tab it in. Now, I think there's a way to actually give sub-tasks here. There we go, sub-tasks. There we go. So this one is going to be convert to singleton. What else did you mention? Oh, okay. So convert to singleton. That's something we're just going to put on there.
We're gonna need. Well, we won't need a level manager of any kind, will we?
I'm not gonna need we're gonna hard code the level transition stuff in this one. If we if you do a project that has more than, I'm going to say 5 levels, you should probably have a level manager that basically contains the whole list of levels, and that way that you have a single point to change if you want to change the flow of the game. You'd be surprised, actually, in the games industry, how often levels get shuffled around. A lot of times, and sometimes you'll get that sense too when you're in a game. You're like, I swear this was supposed to happen earlier, but then they changed it because of X or something. But most of the time, you won't even notice, and that's good. That's good. That means the designers are doing their job. But there are times when you just have a whole bunch of levels, and you're like, well, this level's way harder than the other levels. How about we put this near the end of the game? It's like, but how does that affect the storyline? And then they figure out a way to make it work. Yeah, exactly.
So we have a suggestion. It says, have a GUI health tank on the side that shrinks when damage is taken.
I like that.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, I was going to go with a little bar system, kind of like what we got. So let's start on that, actually. I like that suggestion. Let's go ahead and create what's going to be at least our stand-in for the health thing. What do you like? Do you like capsules, cubes, or... Oh,
you know me, I like cubes.
You like cubes? All right, we're doing cubes. All right. So
I like rotating cubes.
All right, so I'm going to... did they say GUI health tank? Yeah. Well, we're going to have a GUI system, but I'm not going to be using the GUI manager in Unity.
No, the GUI one, it's really good for debug information, but as for using it for like a project, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Even if you wanted to do text, you should use 3D text is really good.
Yeah, you might have to construct your own stuff, but the thing is, you have to reinvent the wheel. You have to bend over backwards to use the GUI system anyway, with the exception of some of the things that it's fast at. Like if you just need to get some debug text on the screen, it's great. Like if you just need to get like the frame rate, you can literally do GUI layout label equals frame rate, and you're done.
Or if you want to do some really simple slider bars to modify variables, debug basically variables, it's great.
So we're going to need kind of a frame for this. So I'm going to do the double cube technique. The double cube technique, as if this is a real technique. So we're going to stretch this out in the X. I'm going to make it 4, so it kind of has... A 4-unit thing means that it's nicely divisible. It'll be single units and stuff in between.
Do a vertical?
Do you think it should be vertical or horizontal?
I don't know, vertical I don't see as much.
All right, let's do vertical. Let's
mix it
be
up.
Outside the norm on this. Let's make it Mega Man style.
Right? I like it. That's what I was thinking.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. So I'm going to make the background just black on this one. So this one's... I'm actually going to make it slightly larger. I'm going to make it 4.1.1. 4.1. Oh, maybe 4.4 is actually more appropriate. Yeah.
No. Well, what are you trying to... Oh, you're using the... I like it.
You know what I'm doing.
Go 4.1.
4.1, okay.
Yeah, go 4.1.
You know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So this one I'm just going to make black. So do we have a black already? No, we don't. So I'm just going to create a new material. We're going to call it black.
Is there any way to reverse the normals through Unity?
Reverse them?
Yeah, flip the normals.
Yes, there is. The way you would... I mean, okay, so you can do it in script, where you actually flip the normals. The normals actually aren't what we need to flip, though. We need to flip the triangle winding on this one.
Okay.
Now, and that we could do in script as well. The easier, cheap, dirty way would be to actually use a shader that has cull front on as opposed to cull back. Most of the shaders built into Unity have cull back, which means that if you have like a plane... Yeah, actually, the plane is a perfect example. So the plane, you can see it from the top, and from the bottom, it is invisible. That means that it's culling the back faces. You can actually create a shader that has both, where it'll show both sides, and you can also do a shader that actually culls just the front faces, so you only have the back side, which is what we want. Do you think I should go through that? Yeah. I'm going to go through it because I don't think a lot of people know this stuff anyway. So I'm going to show you the secret. So Unity has all these built-in shaders, and unfortunately, the shaders don't include the source by default, but they are open source. Like, Unity has them for download, so I'm going to get them downloading right now. Unity shaders. Built-in...
as long as this isn't very big.
Well, I'll get something else doing it. It should be a really small archive, so...
Yeah, I would think so. It's just code.
Yeah. So built-in shaders, save link as, and we're going to just go to the desktop, save, and it's done. So
wow,
yeah,
that was fast.
Not a big file. So we're going to open up built-in shaders, and what we're going to do is, since we just want diffuse on this one, nothing fancy, so we're going to go to default things here. So what do we have that we want? We probably want unlit, actually, too, just because it's a UI element. So let's look for our... Let's search for unlit. Alpha test, reflect, no bump light. Okay, maybe it's in extra. Unlit. There we go. Unlit. So we want unlit.
Normal. Right?
Normal, yeah.
Because we don't need alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a shader, and this represents. So this represents the unlit texture shader that is in there. We're going to rename it here so that it doesn't conflict. So we're going to call this unlit texture cull front. Front with a U, evidently, is how my fingers decided to type today.
Front.
So all we have to do. Oh, interesting. This doesn't cull.
It doesn't cull.
It doesn't cull anything. So I'm trying to remember what the. Yeah, it was just cull front. I think that will be all we need to add.
No semicolons. That's weird.
Yeah. This is actually not. This is not CG.
Language.
This is kind of Unity's own like high-level shader programming language. You can find more information online. It's actually not hard to work in. I actually do want to learn CG myself, just because it kind of gives you more options, and it also feels a little bit more like code. Mm-hmm. But this is a good way to get things going real quick. So hopefully, what this means is if we go to our cube now, I hope this will actually look as good as we want it to look.
I hope so too.
So,
I know what you're going for.
Yeah, so if we go to cube... Actually, unlit texture is probably not the one we want to do, because I don't think it has a color parameter that we can use.
I thought it did.
Let's look. If we go into our materials and go to black here... So, texture, yeah, it doesn't have a color parameter. So we actually... Let's just use the... let's use one of the lit ones for right now, just so that we can... kind of see more how it works anyway. So this one's just going to be diffuse. Normal, diffuse. So let's throw this one in here. Adventures in shaders. So let's go to normal, diffuse. We're going to change where it shows in the thing. So shader is going to be called... Oh, interesting. So if you don't give it a place, that's where it goes. So diffuse, cull front, let's call that. And this one probably has a cull in there. Does it?
Nope.
That doesn't seem right.
Doesn't look like it does.
Cull front. Let's just see how that does. So if we attach this to our shader here and we do diffuse cull front, and we... Okay, so it's already set to black, perfect, and I'm just going to drag this into our thingy. Okay, so black is probably not the best color to actually show this off, is it?
Possibly not. What we could do is put a cube on the inside and see if we can see it.
Good call. So I'm going to make another cube, duplicate. We're going to make this one use a regular material.
Just material for right now.
Yeah,
right?
that'll be fine.
Okay, so we're going to need to reduce the size of that cube.
We're going to make it 0 and...
And it looks like...
0 and
that is
0.
Absolutely
that is exactly
working.
right.
So that's exactly what we were
Look,
going for.
you have toon shading right there. This is actually literally how they did the effects in Jet Set Radio, by the way, for the cartoon cutout shader effect. They actually just re-render the character geometry slightly bigger, and they inverse the normals or cull the front faces as opposed to the back faces, and you're done. They still have to have a highly stylized texture work to make it look good, but it's actually just texture work and that for their tremendous style in that game.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm glad we did this, actually.
That actually
looks really cool.
good.
I'm going to actually make the outline just a little bit bigger just so it reads better. I'm going to go 1.2.
2.5.
2.5? All right, 2.5. I love 2.5 too. Yeah, I know. I like that quarter notation. Yeah, that's hot.
better.
That's the hotness.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And let's go ahead and make a better material for this. Let's create a new material. Let's call it. Let's call this health.
What color to make it?
See, I think we should make it change color based on your
I like it.
current health. I'm going to default it to green. Do you think that sounds good? Kind of a green to red type of notation. I know that you're a big fan of red, but
no, that sounds
okay.
right.
All right, cool.
That's appropriate.
All right, so health. So we're going to just start it at green, but this is probably going to change. I think we already have this hue. Yeah, we already have the hue, saturation, brightness stuff from when we did the other thing. So yeah, we've got our health bar right there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I'm liking that. We might actually. I'm going
Health
to
bar the game.
Yeah.
We have a new main character.
Yeah, seriously, let's just replace the ship with this and fly
Hey.
through space. No,
we
I
should
love your
do-
ship, man. I wasn't
You
dissing
know
your
what we
ship.
should do, actually? Is
What should we do?
We should make a parent ship object and see if we can get it tune shading the same way on the ship.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, let's try that after we get the health bar
Yeah.
working. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with playing with things too. Like let's make things exciting. So as far as where to put our GUI, I'm gonna throw it in the sky. I usually like to put it about 1,000 into the sky, and I do also appropriately tag it and call it so that even if we ended up there, you won't see it on the main screen.
The cube didn't all the way go there because they aren't.
Oh yeah,
they
they're
aren't
not
parented
groups, yeah.
object yet.
Let me just
You can move that into the exact same spot.
0, yep, 0, 1,000. It should be all good.
I thought it was 100.
I'm pretty sure I did 1,000. Or maybe I did 100. Okay, well, I wanted 1,000. There.
So now it's there. It's just hanging out up there.
And so I'm going to set up another camera. This is going to be our GUI camera. So I'm going to go ahead and create a camera. We're going to label it GUI camera. And I'm going to go ahead and make it an ortho camera, which will kind of lose the...
No, I don't think you should do
No,
ortho.
I don't think we should do ortho either. I think we should make it so that we can somehow see that.
Though? That the thing should slightly rotate. Slowly, just continuously rotate.
Okay, we got to do it now. Yeah, that's easy to do. Let's try. I'm ready. Put me in. Rotate.
Apparently, I have a vision for what the health should
I like
look
that. I like working with people who have vision. So public float speed. Actually, let's just do no. Public float speed. What am I doing?
we should give it a default or rotation speed, maybe.
Yeah, let's do float rotation speed. And actually, let's do a public vector 3 axis. And we're going to default this one to the forward axis. I'm probably going to change that because this one we want the vertical axis, but I think it's a better default than what it could be.
Set a default value to the rotation speed?
Yeah, let's set a default value. I'm going to set it to 30. And we're going to assume this is in degrees per second, so I might have to do a conversion here and here. And so all we're going to do is update transform.rotate around, and we will do the axis is axis, and the angle is rotation speed times time.delta time. So I think I also need to do a mathf.deg to rad here on this one. So hopefully this will look about right. So if we hit rotate and throw the... Okay, let's child our two cubes together.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Should the parent be the outline?
Let's make the parent actually its own thing.
Okay.
I actually kind of like that better for this one.
I would agree.
So this one's going to be health bar parent. I'm going to call it that. Okay.
What?
I'll take it. we'll call this. Wait, which one is this? This is the.
That's the.
That's actually the health bar. So let's call that the health bar. Let's call this the
health bar outline.
Health bar outline. All right, cool.
So now we will actually forward's going to be appropriate for this as well. So
will it?
Well, it should be.
It actually is going to rotate this way if it's appropriate. So I'm going to hit play, and actually I'm just going to go. Let's not full screen our game. Obviously, we have some camera issues that we have to figure out too. So
it doesn't know which camera's the main camera. Oh yeah,
so
you're right.
So that's working. That looks about 30 degrees a second. Yeah. So math's good. So all we have to do is just change the axis. We're just going to change it to the Y. And then if we hit play and go back to our scene, we'll see it rotating. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that we're doing that.
I do too.
So now let's look at our camera. So our GUI camera here, I'm going to actually child the health bar to it. I like to actually child the... with the GUI stuff, I like to have it as contained as possible, and I think the camera is the appropriate parent for these things.
Well, that's why we couldn't see it. First of all, camera's
little inside of it, and so all I can render is literally the backside of the black one because it won't see the inside of the green.
Correct.
So yeah, that's definitely problem number one right there. So we're going to take the health bar parent and move it forward here. If I hit play, what happens now?
Yeah. Oh, neato.
It is working. Now, the problem is we're not seeing our other cameras. So if we go to the GUI camera, it's currently clearing the skybox. We actually want to clear depth only. And so if we hit play on this, there we go. We have our... That's totally where we're going to keep it, too. That's the exact appropriate place for our health bar right there.
We should move it to the left side.
That looks really cool.
It does look really cool, but
I like that.
We still need to move it.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. Right there. Just right where you need it.
You can never miss the health bar.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and move it.
The parent.
I failed. So what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier on myself, I'm going to align my camera. So I'm going to align view to selected. And now we can move our object around and kind of have an idea of where it will be on the screen. You may have to deal with a few little things involving positioning if you're working with different aspect ratios. That's something to keep in mind. We might actually even want to, if you were fleshing this project out to support multiple aspect ratios, you might even want to change the position based on the aspect ratio.
That's what I did.
So if I hit play here, we can go ahead and move that further out.
Okay, there
we go.
Looks awesome.
We have our awesome looking health bar. So let's make it so we can take damage, and let's hook up the health bar so that it actually shows what's going on there.
How much would it take to put that outline on the ship?
You really want to do that, don't you?
I do.
All right, let's do it.
Because I don't think it would take much.
No, I don't think it would take much at all, theoretically. If it fails utterly,
then we don't
do it. But we're going to give it a shot. So models. So we already have a ship. So let's go to where's our ship? We got our ship here. I'm just going to. So is this the actual? Where's the one that actually has the model? There we go.
It's
jet
one
model.
more in, I think.
It's not jet model.
Well, isn't there actually the geometry below that?
Crosshair, cube, twin blood. Is it called cube?
Yes. It is called cube. You could change the name if you want to.
No, I want to keep it as cube.
But yes, the ship is cube.
Hello, I am cube. All right, so I'm just going to duplicate cube.
Call it cube outline.
Cube outline. I'm going to code hell for this one. And it
does use two textures.
So that's going to make it a little...
I don't think it'll make it too much more difficult, will it?
No, probably not. So I'm just going to make this slightly larger, 0.1. Actually, let's make it 0.25 because that worked so well for us on the other one. 0.25 and 0.25. And then we are going to throw in so we're going to use different material here. Where's our materials? We're going to use black on the cube outline.
And use it on the second one too.
Okay.
I don't know how you go about doing that. Reset it.
Let's see if I can just throw it into there.
You probably should. Oh. If you reset it, what does that do? I'm so scared of reset.
Resets the color. I'm gonna wait. How does that work? I can't remove that.
No, I don't know.
Okay. So, as I said, might cause us a problem, but actually, kind of looks cool. Probably doesn't need to be that big. And
Probably
also
not.
the scaling. Okay, so here's part of our problem. You can see that the scaling actually is giving us this slight artifact where the wing is actually below the black thing. It's because it's scaling from the exact center of it, and so unfortunately.
Oh yeah, we need to actually. We could take that away.
Yeah. Let's take it away for now.
Right
It's not going to work exactly
custom.
right. It actually is cool. Like this is if you want to do the toon shading thing, we've shown you how to do that on this show. I think that people do ask about that quite a bit.
Honestly,
so.
if you want to fix this so it works right, you'd have to probably fix it in the 3D program that you made the model in.
Yeah, you'd either have to fix it in the program that you made them all in by basically moving the vertices out by the appropriate amount, or actually the other possibility is you might be able to do this in script. It would be a lot of mesh manipulation, but it wouldn't be that difficult. Probably be easier to do in the 3D program now, actually.
Let's go ahead and delete that outline. That was at least we
good
saw
test, successful
happened.
test. Yeah, exactly, successful test. I'm not disappointed at all in that.
And now we can just keep our GUI elements with that outline.
Yes. All right.
All right, let's do the damage.
So let's actually work on the damage system. So we're going to need a script we're going to call damage player on collision. So we want the player to decide what it gets damaged. We should make the objects decide whether it damages the player. I think that's a better way of doing it. Because that way the designers can decide whether something is painful or not, and they don't have to change the player every time.
Yeah.
So, damage player on collision. So what we're going to do is... The player is he actually marked as player?
I believe so.
Actually, I guess we don't need the player because we're going to be grabbing from our thing that's not actually a singleton yet. So I'm going to be cheating right now. We're going to make these static functions. Oh, wait. Which means I have to make the health values static as well. Which is stupid. Which means I need a singleton. It always comes to this. And am I ever prepared? No. Music Manager Singleton, I'm prepared! Oh, yes, we can copy and paste from here. All right, so I'm just going to grab this chunk of junk here and throw this into here. I really should work on a better
boilerplate
singleton. I kind of like having the logic in there, but there are ways to do it with like template functions. I need to actually look into it and play with it a little bit more. I just am not comfortable enough to deal with that right now. So, public static damage player on collision, damage player on collision. We don't care about set music, and we want this to be. Oh wait, I'm doing this on the wrong thing. Let's go to our health manager. This is the thing that should be the singleton.
Yes.
And yeah, let's copy and paste that again. Whee! Not damage player on collision. I made that mistake earlier. I'm learning! Alright, so health manager. And we're going to get rid of the set music because that's music specific. And we're going to call it health manager, just in case we didn't call it that ourselves. And so now we have an instance that we can grab for this thing. And we can access all this stuff exactly the way we want to add it, and we don't have to make everything needlessly static. Again, all this is doing is this makes sure that it is the only one that exists here. So basically it checks to see if you try to instantiate more than one, it will fail. Mm-hmm. It makes sure that this survives multiple levels. So if your health is 50% on level 1, it will continue to be 50% on level 2. We can, of course, change that logic if we want to, but I think that's probably a safe assumption that there's a carryover.
Yes.
And then the other thing that it does is it makes it so that there is a reference that we can get that's a static variable from any script. We can just do healthmanager.instance, and we will get this exact thing that we want. And it will work exactly, wonderfully, beautifully. So now that we have that, we can do our damage player on collision. So all we're going to do is we're going to have a damage amount. So void damage amount. Actually, not. Wait, void. What am I doing? Public float damage amount. And let's default this to 1.0 F, so it'll do 10% damage by default. I think that's fair enough. And we're going to make void on collision enter. And all we're going to do is take our health manager instance dot damage player. Oh, I do need to declare these as actually public. Otherwise, they don't exist as far as other scripts are concerned.
Yeah, they won't be able to find them.
And we're not using update yet, so I'm actually going to remove the update here. We probably will. We're going to use it because we're going to need it for updating the graphics display. So, well, and we don't need it for that. I'm going to leave it.
Yeah. Never hurts to have it.
Damage player, and so the amount will be damage amount, and we're done. That's the thing. That's the whole thing right there. Now there is the potential that you might collide things a whole bunch of times. We will probably actually let's do a cooldown. Public float cooldown time, and let's make this 1.0f as well to start.
Should that actually be on the damage player collision? The cooldown time?
Yeah. The reason being is maybe you have a big old like laser beam that's hitting the player, and you want it to just damage him continuously over the frames or something. Actually, we probably would want a separate function for that. I'm going to make it so it's adjustable on a per object basis, just in case there's things that like maybe there's a case where something will stay on the screen for an extended period of time, and you actually want it to be even longer, or maybe there's a situation where you want it to be shorter because you want it to damage the player multiple times.
Okay.
Do you think that should be global or something?
I would think so.
You would think so?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it here now. We can always globalize it later.
Yeah, it's not hard to do.
And the way I'm going to do this is super simple. I'm going to use an invoke technique. So all we're going to do is we're going to create a private bool in cooldown.
Just read in the chat, there's a materials list in the mesh renderer component that you can use to drag materials onto a game object that uses multiple materials.
Aha! I know where that is. Okay, thank you for the thank you for the info. Actually, let's look at. Well, it doesn't solve the other problem we had.
Yeah,
but I'll keep that in mind.
Would actually...
So where that actually is that he's talking about, just for our future reference, and I should have remembered this. If we go to anything, just give me something that has something. If you go into the materials list here, this is where it is, so you can actually drag it in there. Yes. So that was my mistake for not remembering that.
I've used that
detail.
Before too.
Yeah, I have too, and I totally forgot. So cooling down.
Cooldown time.
Cooldown. I like in cooldown.
Oh, in cooldown's good.
Equals false. So it's not true to start. We set in cooldown to true, and then because I'm super lazy, I'm going to do an invoke uncool. I just have to do it. I'm sorry. That's
wow.
Uncool cooldown time. So now all we have to do is just create a void uncool, and we just set in cooldown to false. So now we have a cooldown there. That was probably the easiest way that you can do one of these. So that'll give us our damage. Let's give this a shot. Actually, let's make it so that the health manager actually does stuff with this interface now. So I want to have a public game object health display. Health display.
Everyone likes health displays.
And I'm going to go ahead and let's put that after. No, let's put that before. Health display, and actually, since we're going to be just adjusting a scale and stuff, I'm just going to call it a transform. We don't need it as a game object. We're not going to be deleting it or doing game object level stuff. We're going to be doing transform level stuff, so that's the appropriate thing to do.
Aren't we going to need an offset of the center if we just...
Oh, yeah. Let's actually fix that. So right now, if we scale the bar, it'll scale... Actually, let's leave it in the center for right now. Okay. We can fix it, and actually it won't look bad necessarily. But yeah, we will fix that. Let's just get this so that we actually have something displaying here. So update
Depends on if you're scaling the black background or not.
So, in our update loop, and we don't have to do it in the update. We can do it in the damage player and restore health. So let's do that. Let's just make one less thing that's actually calculating on the time. Yeah. So we're going to start with just the resizing. We won't do the coloring. I think we're probably not going to have time for color tonight, honestly.
No.
So current health minus equals damage amount, and we're going to set the... so we're going to be just scaling the Y on this. Is that what the thing is scaled? It's the X. Oh, because I rotated it.
Mm-hmm.
How stupid of me. I'm fixing this. This will bite me in the butt later. So 1.25. Get rid of the 90. I'm going to just do this blind. 4.25.
Remember to do it on the other one.
I want to do it on this one. 1, 4. Get rid of the 90. Let's actually check to see if I was doing it right. Okay, that looks good. Everything still seems fine. All right, now I don't feel like I'm going to shoot myself in the foot, because that is a really easy way to start doing it. So what we're going to do is... at the start, we're going to have to capture the current. So, what are we going to do? We want health display. No, let's do new private float original Y scale health original Y scale. And so health original Y scale equals where is it? Health display dot position dot scale local scale dot Y.
Now the question is, are you scaling the whole object or just the cube?
I'm going to... What do you mean?
Well, I was thinking that the black background should stay where it is.
Yeah, it will.
Oh, okay.
What we mean by health display is we will just literally be dragging the reference of
Okay.
the one that we care about, not the other one. The other one it can stay right where it's at.
Yeah,
and it'll
I think
work.
that seems appropriate to me.
So all we're going to do now is again, we have our max health here concept, and so we want to, instead of just saying whatever the health is the scale, that won't work. We want to actually have it be a percentage. It's really easy to do that. It's simple division. So all we're going to do is the health display dot local scale equals new vector 3 health display dot local scale dot x health display dot local. Okay, we'll do the Z1 at the end there, and then the middle one is going to be our new scale, and the new scale is going to be simply health original Y scale times the percentage of the health to the max health. So it would be current health divided by max health.
Yep.
And we don't have to worry about any divide by 0, 0 unless max health is 0, and if you do that, God help you. So
if you do that,
don't do that. Yeah, if you do that, don't do that. So let's see if this works. So I'm going to go ahead and make it so that if we hit one of the... Where's the...
Arches?
Yeah, where do we have an arch? Where's our prefabs? There we go. Arch. We want the part that's actually... So we want collision 1, 2, and 3.
What is the difference between them?
So all of these are just the ones that represent the outside. Remember, we built a complex collision out of this. So this is a trigger. We could actually probably put it on the parent. It'll work. I'm going to go ahead and do that and give that a shot first. So, and that'll make it so that the cooldown timer isn't dependent on which section of the thing you hit, which would be a problem. So all I need to do is grab the damage player on collision, throw it into the arch, and if we hit play here and attempt to hit one of our arches, we ought to...
There's an arch.
Alright. I didn't even check to see if it's colliding with the player, which is funny. I'm not even sure if this is going to work the first time, but let's give it a shot. Oh, that didn't look so good. Let's make sure I'm hitting something. Yeah, that didn't look like that did anything. Oh. So, part of it might be... So first of all, let's get rid of this audio. Yeah, that's really blocking our... So actually, let's collapse. Where's collapse? There it is. Jet model, box collider. Okay, well, whatever. Let's get this thing off of here. So we don't want the audio listener on our GUI camera because
it's not necessary.
Unity can't handle 2 audio sources, and that's pretty sensible considering there's not like honestly they should be able to handle it and output it to multiple sound cards and stuff. But I understand why they don't just support that right off the bat. So let's look at what we're doing here. So we're doing a damage player on collision. It's on collision inner. Collision. So part of this might actually be that we don't have the proper mix of things to actually make the ship collide properly. So the ship has a rigid body. It's kinematic. What is it called?
The arch.
Arch. Thank you, prefab arch. It's also kinematic. So I think that's what's biting us in the butt here. So let's look at the reference real quick. That's not what I wanted. New window. Not ending the episode just yet. Unity Mesh Collider. This is the thing. I really should have this printed out somewhere because this is the chart I consult the most often out of everything in Unity's documentation because I always get this wrong. So right now we're doing kinematic rigid body collider versus kinematic rigid body collider. Look at that big empty space there. So that's not going to work. So one of them has to be changed into a regular rigid body collider, or we have to switch to a trigger-based system. And actually, the trigger's probably the better choice. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this just in case we need it later. I'm going to make one called on trigger, and it will be exactly the dang same. Except but we're going to do on trigger, enter. And on trigger. So now if we go to our arch, we need to actually make sure that we set the collision types as triggers. So we're going to do is trigger on all of these. And now if we hit play, hopefully...
Do you need to change the script?
Oh yeah, I need to change the script because I duplicated it and did all that stupid stuff. So remove this one, and we throw in our damage player on trigger script. And we hit play, and so hopefully this one will actually work. Oh wait, I want to change one more thing. I want to make sure that the health manager actually has a health manager. That might help.
Yeah, the health bar doesn't actually have a reference.
Where is my health manager? I put it in scripts, I guess. Where it should be, but not where I expected to put it. So health manager, max health, health display. So the health display, we're going to throw in our health bar, our heath bar. And again, this is going to be scaling from center for right now, but this will be fine for our purposes for this episode.
We can always fix that next episode.
Yes, we can. And come on, big money, no whammies. Stop. Oh yes, we took worked. Damage, and it worked, and we didn't take damage more than once.
Only took damage once. Bam.
Bam. That looks like it's going at faster than 10 hits, but maybe that's just my perception of things because of the way it's scaling. Here, let's see if we can take 10 hits.
This is number 3.
Bam, 3. So that looks higher than...
Well, let's see.
4. Oh, I definitely took multiple hits there.
Hits right there.
So why is that happening?
Because there are more than one collision.
You think that's why that's happening?
Rigid bodies.
But there's only one script, and there should be only one cooldown.
No.
Oh! I see the problem. We didn't actually check. If not in cooldown.
Oh yeah, that would do it.
Yeah. So it was hitting multiple times. So now we'll know for sure that this stuff works. Hit save on that. And actually, while I'm doing this, I might as well since it hasn't differed at all, I'm going to go ahead and put the trigger one up to date as well. Wait, not trigger, the collision one. On Collisionator. Alright, let's see if that looks more like 10 hits to death now, and then we're going to call it a night.
Alrighty.
Woo.
Well, we got a cool little shader going on.
We got a cool little shader. People know how to do they know the trick now. They know that crazy trick, and they know about getting the shaders off the internet. That looks like 1/10. That looks exactly right. Bam. Oh,
yeah,
that's
appropriate.
Beautiful. That is just
now
beautiful.
All it needs to do is not scale from the center.
All right, fine. Let's do it right now. Let's do it.
Just do it real quick.
Do it real quick. It's super simple.
Really, really easy.
All we have to do is create an empty game object. We're going to throw it in here somewhere. I'm going to copy the component here. I'm going to paste it into this game object so that it is at the exact same position. Paste component values. It already was, so that worked out very nicely. And we throw the health bar in there, and then all we have to do is offset. Wait, do we throw the health? Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So the offset would be...
We offset it by 2.
By 2. Would it be
it's
vertically or?
Yeah. No. Maybe it's only by 1. It's by the other way. -1.
-1. Okay. -1. And then we move this back up to 1. Or wait,
what? It scales different. So
that's what happened. Hold on. 4. We don't want the scale to be on that. That was the problem.
No, we want.
And then we want this to be 1. So health bar.
Yep. So now. Ooh.
So now if I scale.
That's weird.
Wait. Yeah. What did I do?
Why is it up above?
So we want
now
actually
go
want
to
this.
-4.
We want this right at the bottom.
Yeah.
That's what we want. So this will be -2. And then
-2.
this one is whatever we need to make it work. 1.5? No, 2. Okay, it's 2. You were right.
Why is it? Oh yeah, 2. That makes sense.
Yeah. So
that
now if we scale this, it still didn't work. If we scale this, there we go.
What we want to scale.
All right. Cool.
So that should be the object that is actually going through the health bar.
Yes. So now what we will do is call this health bar display parent. I'm going to change this to actually be health bar
display.
Actually, I'm going to call this health bar display.
That's fine.
Health bar. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Health bar parent, health bar display, health bar. There's so many different types of health bar.
Health manager.
So health manager, we just need to drag this into our health bar. And now if we hit play, this thing should do exactly what we want. Because we took the scale into account, like we didn't even have to worry about that portion, the fact that the way it worked. So hopefully this one will scale down exactly the way we want it, and we can call it a night.
All right.
So, bam, there we go.
It did exactly what
Beautiful. And we have a health bar.
Awesome.
So I'm going to save that scene, and I'm going to hit the buttony button, main plus cam. Hello, can you see me? All right, there I am. So, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We, again, still don't have our offline ending screen for this. Also, we're at 12 frames per second right now. Hopefully next week we can double that. We're increasing our internet bandwidth tomorrow, hopefully, assuming that CenturyLink can deal with us. So that'll be awesome for next week. So thank you for joining us for our live show. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for participating.
Yeah.
It's really great to have you guys. And if you like our show or you want to ask us questions, you can email me at pushypixels@pushypixels.com, and you can also tweet me at Dracfire.
You can email me if you want to at philip@protosoftworks.com, or you can follow me on the Twitter, and that is at magmalemur. And you should also pick up Proton Pulse. Buy Proton Pulse or any of the other fine Pushy Pixels products.
And you should also pick up Automation/Robot Alone. Is it Robot Alone yet?
No, not yet.
It's not yet. Is it still in approval?
Yeah, it's waiting.
Freaking Apple. How hard is that? I mean, seriously.
They have to do their tests.
Yeah, I know. You know that they do it for 15 minutes when it finally falls on someone's plate, right? You know it's just like, it didn't crash. It's good. I don't see any sexual content. It's good. All right.
Oh, look, he changed the title. That's it.
But yeah. So pick up Automation, or as it will be known as Robot Alone. And thank you very much, and you guys have a great week.
Have a fantastical week.